Good Erev Shabbos. Great to see you. Great to be with Bayit community near and far and to share a word of Torah and a word of blessing on this Erev Shabbat, Parashat Ha'azinu. It's a great Shabbat for our Bayit community, even in a week heavy with losses, and our thoughts are with precious Bayit community members mourning the loss of loved ones. It's also a Shabbat of joy. We're celebrating long distance, the bar mitzvah of Davidi Reeser, son of our cherished Bayit team member, Shuli Baxter Reeser, and Ari Reeser. Mazal Tov, Davidi, on your bar mitzvah this Shabbat in Washington Heights. And of course, we're celebrating with Tzuri and Sarah, their recent wedding, and celebrating together as a Bet Aharon and Bayit community. It's a Shabbat of Simcha. And my words of Torah here reflect the simcha of this hopeful moment, coming out of Yom Kippur, looking ahead to Sukkot on a day of beautiful weather as I look out and see the Sukkah coming together outside on our Bayit terrace. I hope we'll get to be together there with as many of each other as possible. In the beginning of this week's parasha, God's loving, protective relationship with the Jewish people is described. Yimtsaehu be'eretz midbar u'betohu yelel yishimon. God found us in a howling wilderness, in a desolate desert. Yisovevenu yivonenehu yitzerenhu ki ishon eino. And God surrounded us, encircled us, and protected us, guarded us, ki ishon eino, usually translated as like the pupil of God's own eye. Of course, an impossibility to imagine. But Rashi on Ishon Eino says something amazing. Hashachor sheba'ayin, this is the black part of the eye. Shemimenu hamaor yetzei, from which light, illumination shines forth. Now, my friends who are eye doctors tell me that no light shines forth from our eyes, although our eyes are rich with light receptors, but they're light receivers, not light givers. But the divine eye somehow shines out light. When we talk about Or Panecha, as we said on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, Be'or Panecha Yahalechun, may we walk illuminated by the light of God's face, evoked in the Birkat Kohanim every time we recite it. We are imagining light, according to this Rashi, shining out of God's eyes. Incredible, incredible image. And I want to pair that image with the comment here of Rabbeinu Bachaye, who says that Ishon, the language of Ishon, in the word Ishon Eino, which means pupil, is from the language of Ish, a human being. And he says because if you look closely in the pupil of someone's eye, you see a diminutive image of a human being. You see the small reflection of a person. Of course you do, because our eyes are reflective with light. And when you look into someone else's eyes, you see your own reflection. A small person, Ishon, reflected in their eyes. If we put this Rashi and this Rabbeinu Bachaya together, maybe we can imagine that the light that illuminates and shines forth from God's eye is the light that we see when we look towards God and see ourselves reflected in God's eye, so to speak. When we're reaching towards God, looking to connect with that which is beyond us in this universe, looking to connect with the infinite, then we see ourselves, the infinite divinity in us, and that shines forth from God like light. The way to be shining, radiant in this world is to seek to connect with the infinite, to seek to connect with the ultimate good, which is beyond us, but when we strive for it, we see back a shining image of ourselves. May it be a Shabbat of striving, of channeling the light of this Yom Kippur. You can even see that shimmering radiance on the cover of the Aron Kodesh behind me, reflecting and refracting that light of striving. May it be a light of seeing ourselves reflected in each other's eyes as we look to connect, and in the divine, protective, loving eye, protecting us like the pupil of God's eye, seeing us reflected in that eye, shining brightly with love. Shabbat Shalom.